Hello, and welcome back to yet another retro channel. My name's Todd, and you might be asking yourself, what exactly am I looking at? Well, viewers, if all goes well, you're looking at the start of an epic C64 Repairathon. I have not 4, not 5, not even 6, but 8 Commodore 64s in need of repair. And that's what we're going to look at in this video. This is part 0 of the C64 Repairathon, and in this video we're going to assess each of these machines and see where they stand. After that, there will be a video per machine showing you the efforts to repair them. I may or may not succeed. I'm new at this, so we'll see what happens. Stick with me. But first, before we get to that, I do want to give some shout outs. Those of you in the C64 community in particular, but the retro computing and retro gaming communities probably have heard of a gentleman who goes by the handle bwack. Now, bwack noticed my channel based on a post I made to one of the retro computing groups on Facebook, and he watched some of my videos. He subscribed to my channel, and then he left a comment for me where he gave me some compliments, offered me some good advice, and said that he would like to give me a shout out on his channel when he posted his next video. And sure enough, he was as good as his word. He gave me a shout out in the video he posted yesterday or the day before, and I want to express again, I've already told him, but I want to express again how grateful I am to him for that, how humbled I am to have been noticed by one of the greats, and just basically I've been fangirling ever since he contacted me. So thank you, bwack, and I will be posting a link to your channel and to that video in the description below, and I'll probably put a card in the upper corner so that you can click over to his channel and see what he's all about, in case you don't already know. Second, I was contacted by some more YouTubers. Captain Commodore, who I mentioned in some of my previous videos, 8-Bit Retro Refix, Joseph Retro Bits, and Retro For You. They've banded together in a collective to support each other, to help each other out, to provide information to each other, and generally to give each other a hard time sometimes. They have a WhatsApp group, and they asked me to join, and I am greatly appreciative, and I hope to give as much as I get from them. So I will again be linking to their channels below and possibly in the corner. So go over and watch some of their videos, give them a subscribe, leave them some comments, leave them some likes. That all helps. And while I'm at it, you may as well, if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Watch some of my other videos. I'd appreciate it. Give me a like if you like the video. If you don't, go ahead and click the dislike button. I'm open to criticism. Subscribe, leave a comment, click the notification bell, all that good YouTube stuff that you hear so often. And that all being said, let's get to the meat of the video. Well, all right then. I have to first start by apologizing. I may have misled you just slightly. I do have 8 non-fully functioning Commodore 64s to work on. However, this one right here actually is fully operational, apart from the fact that it's missing a SID. The only thing that's wrong with this. This board, along with these 2 and one other, I got in a lot of non-working motherboards from eBay. The first one you've already seen if you've watched some of my other videos. The video where I recreate Adrian Black's ZIF 64 for use in diagnostics, and we will be using that in these videos. That board was one of the 4. When I got them, there were 2 that were almost complete. Actually, I think the one that was the 64 was actually complete. However, if you watch that video, you'll find out that it had a bad SID and a bad CIA. So I repaired that board, added the ZIF sockets to it, and it is waiting to be used in these upcoming videos. This board, as I recall, it did have a minor problem. I don't remember what it was. It might have been one of the ROMs. But I repaired it, and all it was missing then was the SID chip. I have tested it with a good SID, and with a good SID, it is fully functional. So that leaves these 2. These 2 came to me with missing ICs. Just, 2 or 3 each. Well, 2 or 3 on this one, 2 or 3 plus all the RAM on this one. So what I decided to do was use these 2 as parts boards, and I have extracted the remaining chips from them, tested them all in the ZIF machine, and the ones that worked I have added to my stash of spares. I have a limited stash of spares to do these repairs on these machines, and if I get to the end of the Repairathon, the 5 other boards, and have spares left, then I will attempt to get these working. I'll attempt to get these working anyway. Just, if I have to pull parts temporarily from working boards to get these, to be able to test these and make sure they're fully functional, I will, and then return the parts to the boards they belong to. And then once I know exactly what spares I still need, I will go ahead and go online and find those spares and get these boards fully operational. Now, these 4 boards came with no cases, no keyboards. I have one pretty good condition case, and I have 3 kind of poor condition cases that, well, I only need 3 now that I've used one of the boards as the ZIF board. So I will attempt to put together enough cases for the machines that I get working. I also have keyboards, and as you watch this, you'll probably see that I'm not going to do the keyboards restorations in the Repairathon, but I do intend to make a keyboard restoration video in the future. I don't know if it'll come after the Repairathon or whether it'll come in the middle. I think as long as this is going to be, I may intersperse other videos between some of the Repairathon episodes just to keep things interesting for those who aren't diehard Commodore 64 fans. So a keyboard repair video might be in there. You might see a video on a Timex Sinclair 1000. You might see a video on some TRS-80 color computer stuff, but we will eventually get through all the Commodore 64s for you. So I'm not going to be showing you the restoration part of this. I'm only going to be showing you the repair part. So you won't see me cleaning the boards. You won't see me cleaning the cases, doing any retro brighting, anything like that. I'll leave that for other videos. I'll probably do some of those things in the future, but for right now, we're going to concentrate on getting these boards working. So that being said, we are going to call these boards number 6. It has a missing SID. Number 7. We're just going to call it number 7 because it's obvious it's missing all of its chips. And number 8. So that's an assessment of these 3. Let's get another one up on the bench. Okay. Number 1. You are seeing these next 5 for the first time at the same time that I am. I bought them off of eBay. 4 of them were a set. This one was sold separately, sold individually. So I've unboxed them, but I have not unwrapped them. I haven't looked at them. I have no idea what condition they're in, apart from that they were all sold as non-working. So We're going to dig into this one. The seller, as you can see, did a good job of wrapping this so that it'd be protected in shipping. Oh, well, if that case is broken, that's my fault. So I don't. Ooh, yes, it does have a broken key. I did know that from the ad. So, as I was saying, I do save and reuse packing material. I know some of you are environmentally aware and don't like to add unnecessarily to the landfills. So when I get this stuff, rather than just throwing it away, I try to reuse as much as possible. Okay, I'm back, and as I said, this case is not in great condition. It is severely yellowed, browned, I would say. It's filthy. The keyboard has a broken key. It does have a missing, or a broken stem, and the piece of the stem is still inside there. I've seen people screw a screw into this broken stem and be able to pull it out. Do I have anything that might work for that? Need a really small screw, self-tapping, really small screw. No, don't have any self-tappers handy, but I will be able to solve that problem, so I'm not too worried about it right now. And these days, it is possible to 3D print key stems. However, like I said, I do have a bunch of keyboards that are in need of restoration, so I may just pull a key stem off of one of those. But if necessary, I can 3D print a key stem. The next thing is to get a spring, and I think I probably have some spare springs around. So I will be able to get this keyboard back to complete. The question then is, will it function? And I do have means of restoring the functionality of keyboards as well. But this keyboard, as you can see, is severely yellowed, dirty, filthy. If I pull one of the keycaps, you'd be able, well, okay, maybe I can show you here. See the difference between the yellow lettering on the top of the key and the white on the sides. That is an effect of the sunlight shining on the top, but not on the back of the key or bottom of the keys. So this case is in need of some serious restoration. Whoever did this taped the key on with the tape inside the case. So I'm going to have to open up the case before I can get that tape out. We're going to open up the case anyway, so it really doesn't matter. If you do this kind of work, you could do worse than to pick up some of these little magnetic trays. These are great for keeping your small metallic parts from going flying everywhere and losing them. Okay, now, first thing we're going to do is we're going to label this machine number 1. So that we keep each machine together with its component parts. So, again, you are seeing this for the first time just at the same time I am. If you're wondering why I don't just power this up, because there's so much that could go wrong with that. If there is a problem with the power supply, the voltage rails, and I do that just before I've checked anything out, I could kill chips. I could blow the machine up. I don't want to do that. So we are going to write number 1 on the inside of the case. Now, if you're worried about this, Sharpie does come off with 99% IPA. So when I'm done with the restoration, I'll clean that off. Still have the cardboard RF shield. Looks like the Vic can has been opened at some point, but the Vic is still there. It was put back on backwards. The heatsink is supposed to be on this side so it touches the Vic. I don't see any evidence that the bottom shield has ever been removed, desoldered and removed, so this machine may be untouched. We might be in luck. This is a 250407 board, revision B. I know you can't see that because it's under the heatsink for the regulator there. That gives me an indication someone might have been in here before. I think that standoff might be broken. Yeah, that standoff broken off. Well, I couldn't get the screw out. So let me just... Okay, there's the remaining bit of the standoff. I'm going to, whoops. I'm going to get a little bag together for the parts. There is your cardboard RF shield. And like so many others, I see no value in these. I don't see it as a mark of keeping them stock or pristine. I don't see the value in doing that. I understand that some of you do, and I apologize, but this is going in the trash. And we will mark the bottom of the case with number 1. Again, like I said, that comes off with isopropyl alcohol, so no big deal. We'll put that down with the rest of the case and the keyboard, all for cleaning and restoration later. And let's take a look at this board. Now, if we're going to get a good look, we need to take that bottom shield off. So I'm going to get the soldering iron heated up. Get my picks out to do that with. But let's just look at the board as it sits. A little IPA on a paper towel to clean away this thermal compound from the Vic 2. I do that so that I can see the markings on the chip, and also so that I don't get thermal compound all over me. Stuff tends to get everywhere. So we have a 6567 R8, which is one of the good Vics. Usually produces pretty good video quality. We have a standard 6581 SID chip. We have version 3 of the kernel ROM. We have chips dated, it looks like they're all 84. So this machine was built sometime in late 84 or, no, in late 84. Still has the copper tape on the cartridge port. Doesn't serve any purpose, so I'm going to remove it. Okay. Everything looks complete. I don't see any missing chips or any obvious damage. Let's check real quick our fuse. Fuse is good. All right. The next step, before we look at the back of the board, I am going to remove the socketed chips, and there are quite a few of them. All the main chips are socketed, and one of the logic chips. So I'm going to be able to clear this board before we test the power rails, which makes it a lot safer to do. If you don't have one of these, look for one. They're very useful. Okay, now that we've got all the chips out, I'm going to go ahead and give this thing power and check our voltages. So, power is on the bench supply. First I'm going to check the 12 volts. And there, now you can see what I'm seeing on the multimeter. So again, our 12 volts, 11.97, that's great. Our 5 volts, 5.03, perfect. So we'll be safe to put back the VIC2 and the SID. Now, let's check our 5 volts on the CPU, pin 6. .01 volts, that's coming directly from the power supply, so that's perfect. So we've got a good 5 volts to the CPU, we've got good 5 and 12 for those two chips, so I think we'll be safe to put the chips back and try again and see what we get out of this machine. So our little logic chip, smart man always said, deoxit that socket. So all right. Always making sure to put the notch the right direction. There we go. Let's hook up video. And another camera shift for you so you can see the output. Okay. Get my monitor on. And see what we get. We're getting a signal. Black screen. Look at that. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to pop in dead test and see if we get anywhere. Here goes. Dead test takes a few seconds to get started. But nothing. So we have a black screen and no dead test. We're going to note that on number 1. Black screen, no dead test. All right, so that lets us know where we stand with number 1. Again, these are going to be cleaned off camera, but for now, let's put everything back. and move on to board number 2. All right, for board number 2, we have one of 4 boards that I got as a package deal. And again, I've not seen these before. You're seeing them for the first time exactly when I am. These came also pretty well packaged. I appreciate a seller who cares enough about even broken equipment to package it well. Okay. Ooh, silver label. All right. That's impressive. So let's see what we've got here. As I said, we've got a silver label C64. The case plastic is actually, it's dirty, but it doesn't look like it's yellowed much. Neither have the keys. Keyboard is intact, no broken keys, no binding up. It's, like I said, it's dirty, but it is intact. Now this is going to be the round hole, not the square hole, so that's a little contradictory. And it is an 8-pin video port. So there's some things that indicate it's very early and some things that indicate it's not. It may have been at the very end of the silver label Commodore line. So serial number on this one, P2360422. So not a particularly early sounding serial number. As you can see, the feet are missing. I can replace those. It has all of its screws. No crack, so someone's been here before. The cardboard RF shield has been torn away. However, again, it looks as though the bottom shield has never been desoldered. And I realize now that I forgot to desolder and look at the back of that first board. We'll look at the back of this one. We'll have to see the back of the first one when we get to the actual repairs. Pull our keyboard here and our LED. Mark this case for number 2. Okay, again, this one, not again, this one is, even though it's older, it's cleaner than the first one was. This, again, belies the silver label case. This is a 250407 Rev C board, which would indicate it's actually later than the first one. Something else that indicates it's later is that the only socketed chip outside the can is the SID. The SID is a 6581, and again, I am seeing 1984 dates on all the chips. Let's pop the can on the Vic. So what this looks like is a Frankenstein. It's what happens when someone gets a silver label shell and puts a newer motherboard in it. My guess was the original motherboard was beyond their ability to repair it. And what do we have for a VIC chip? We have another R8, so another good VIC chip. And we have a standard 6581 SID. Nothing unusual about the revisions of any of the other chips. So let's get this thing out of here. Okay. Come on out. Get rid of that. RF shield on the bottom looks nice. It's clean. Of course, it's gonna go bye-bye. Mark this number 2 and set it aside. And I'm going to go ahead again and remove the VIC and the SID. Can't remove any of the other chips because they're not socketed. But the VIC and the SID are. The VIC RF can around the VIC's a little bent, making it difficult to get to the chip itself. But there we go. There's our VIC 2 and our SID. So, power back here so you can see what I'm seeing. Power on, and our 5 volts is at what? Oh dear. Our 5 volts is at 11.15 volts. That's not good. Means we have a problem in our regulation circuit. So, what's the 12? 12 is 12.21, so that's all right. Oh, I was on the wrong pin. I know some of you spotted that and were yelling at your screens. Sorry about that. Look at this pin and see where we are on the 5 volts. 4.96. That's just perfect. Okay, so we're good there. Let's check on the CPU. Pin 6. We're getting 4.71. That's a tad low, so there may be a short on this board somewhere. We're going to have to find that, but at least it's not over voltage, so I'm not going to blow anything up. So, all right. Well, let's go ahead and do what I didn't do the last time and get this heat shield off. Or not heat shield, RF shield. I know. Adrian does that all the time too. Okay, that looks like all of them. Should pop right off now. Should. There we go. Oops, did I miss one? I missed one. There we go. Again, shield is in good shape, cardboard's in good shape, but bye-bye. All right, so let's take a look at the back of the board here. If we see any signs of rework. I am not seeing any flux residue apart from the hand soldered components. Power connector, the 2 connectors here are hand soldered. But no signs of flux. So either this has not been worked on, which is what I expect is the case, or if it was worked on, whoever did it cleaned it up very well. So, now that we have looked at that, now that we have verified the power, let's go ahead and pop our VIC back in. We'll leave the SID out for now. Nope, I did it again. there's the VIC. Let's give this thing some power. Hook up the video cable. Yeah. And get my monitor up. Switch you over. Well, we have a signal this time. Gray screen. Okay. So get rid of that. And we're going to give a shot at the dead test. Black screen this time. Do we get anything from dead test? I'm going to say no. So, number 2. Black gray screen, no dead test. Power off, dead test out, and disconnect. So, we got 2 machines that need diagnosing. That's a good thing. I apologize, I forgot to turn my lav mic back on. This is machine number 3. As you saw on the front, it's in pretty nice shape. It's yellowed slightly from the original brown. The keycaps are in relatively good shape. There's some yellowing on this side, but many of these others are barely yellowed. They are yellowed some, but it's pretty clean on the outside. I don't see any marks or scuffs. It's serial number P0049733, made in USA. We'll just finish getting her opened up here. All the feet are in place on this one. When we open it up, now we get crack on one of the out, but someone has been in here because one of the clips is broken on the back. See that there? Again, that's something that I can repair with Jeff Burt's 3D printed case repair kit. The Mitsumi keyboard. We will mark this with a 3. Set it aside. We have the cardboard RF shield in place, and the copper tape is still intact, so maybe we'll be in luck with this one too, but it has been opened before. You can tell by how easy that pulls away. Board is very clean. We've got sockets on CIA number 2, the kernel ROM, the CPU, PLA. The SID is not socketed, so when we do our power testing, we'll have to do it with the SID in there. I hate to do that. This is a 250407 Rev A board. Let's get the RF can off the VIC. Clean that VIC off a bit so we can see what we've got to work with. We have another R8, so nice VIC chip. The SID is a regular 6581. Nothing else out of the ordinary. So let's get her out of the case here. Just looking these over real quick, I see 82, 83, 83. That CIA will have been replaced. 83, 83, 83, 83. Most of this is 83. That CIA being 82 suggests to me, at least, that CIA had to be replaced, and that's probably why this board had been opened before. Say bye-bye to the cardboard. Dusty underneath, but the board itself is very clean. Yeah, there's plenty of indication that these have been desoldered, so that bottom RF shield has been pulled. I don't know if it's normal for some of those to have a gold color to them, but this one does. Okay, mark our case bottom as number 3. And let's get this bottom shield off. There we go. All right. Say goodbye to the RF shield. And looking at the bottom of the board, I'm not seeing any indication of rework. Looks factory. Well, there's a bodge down here on the power socket. Not sure what that's for, but we'll leave that in place and see how things go. The CIA that I thought might have been replaced, it's possible that was socketed at the factory, because that looks, well, no, I think that has been reworked. It was just very well done. I very seldom see rework that clean. So nice job to whoever did that, whoever put that socket in. And let's see, go ahead and pop our VIC-2 out. Pop our PLA, our CPU, our kernel ROM, and our CIA that's been replaced. That's all of our socketed chips. And go ahead and give this some power and test the power rails. So 5 volts. 4.95, that's perfect. 12 volts. 11.98, also perfect. Means our 9 volts is getting in okay. Let's check. Ooh. Not on the CPU. Let's check our 5 volts. One of these. There we are. I'm back. I'm got my probes on backwards, is why we're getting a negative. But there is 4.9 volts at the user port. That means the 5 volts from the power supply is getting through okay. So we can go ahead and put our chips back in. Okay, let's see what we get. And no dead test. This is just powering it up normally. Getting a signal. Black screen. Okay. So, pop in dead test and see if we get anything there. Give it a moment. Nope, nothing on dead test. All right. Okay. So, let's call it on this one. We have number 3, black screen, and no dead test. All right. Number 4. All right. Open this one up. All right, we got another newer revision. This one, quite a bit of dirt between the keys, I can see. But the case is maybe yellowed a bit, but otherwise seems to be in pretty good shape. I'm not seeing any scuffs or scratches. We are, again, missing the rubber feet on the bottom, but otherwise looks pretty good. This is serial number P2261562, again made in the USA. Okay, oh, I didn't notice. There is a missing key, the F7 key. The key stem is broken off and there's no spring and the key's not with it, so I'll have to replace that. I have keys, and again, I have keyboards that I can pull from as spares. Well, we get a crack from at least one of the clasps, clips, whatever you want to call them. This is, I don't think this is a Mitsumi keyboard, so this is going to be a little different. Go ahead and mark this as number 4. A bit dirty inside. Again, we still have the cardboard RF shield. This has been, someone has been in here because the copper tape is pulled away from the cartridge port. But here's our board, again, we've got some dirt going on. This is going to need a good wash. But what do we have? We have a hole. Very nice. We have an R4AR SID chip. I'm very pleased with that. Those are rare. If you're paying any attention right now, you're not going to get one of these off eBay for anything less than $125 plus shipping and tax. These are the most desirable of the SID chips and probably the most rare. They have a really good sound to them. I've heard, actually it was Adrian Black who said he thinks AR stands for advanced resonance. He's not sure of that though, and I haven't heard from anywhere else what the true case is there. So impressive, and it's in a socket. Now let's get the can off the Vic. Oh, it's already partially lifted. Bit stuck. The can itself is a bit bent up. And fresh paper towel. So we can clean that thermal paste off the Vic chip. See what we've got there. It's another R8. So good on the SID or the Vic chip. For sockets, we only have the Vic, the SID, and one of the little logic chips here. Something I know I haven't been doing. Let's do real quick. Check the fuse. Fuse is good. Let's get it out of the case. There is evidence that the bottom shield has been removed in the past, so I expect we're going to find some rework on the bottom. Our chip dates. Wow, that SID chip is from 87, 84 on the Vic, 84, 84, 84, 84. So my guess is what we're going to find is the SID has been replaced at some point, which is good for us. It means there's a good chance that SID is still working. And like I said, it is the R4AR. So we may have lucked out. Okay. Oh, that's one. This board is obviously 250407. It is a Rev C. So bye-bye cardboard. Ooh, dust bunnies. Dust bunnies everywhere. Okay. Bottom shield looks pretty nice. Obviously it doesn't matter much because we're going to toss it in the bin. Let's get rid of our dust bunnies and mark the bottom case as number 4. Set it aside and get to removing that bottom shield. think that's all. I think. See, she comes loose. Still a little stuck down here. There we go. Okay, cardboard and aluminum. There we go. So now, back of the board. Well, again, I'm seeing flux. I'm seeing flux on the hand soldered components from the factory. I'm seeing a little flux here on this logic chip, which is the one that's socketed. The SID, I'm not seeing any indication that that was pulled, so that may be a factory socket, but just a replacement chip. And, right, well, let's get this thing ready for a power test. VIC2 out, SID out. Nothing else in sockets apart from that logic, so nothing else we can really remove. Let's give it power and check our voltages. So here is 5 volts, 4.99, that's great. 12 volts, 12.12, that's also perfect. Look at our 5 volts on the CPU, and 6, 4.87, that's good. So it looks like all our voltage rails are nice. Let's go ahead and pop the VIC2 back in. Let's do this while we're here. All right, pop our VIC2 back in. Hopefully don't bend the pen again. Okay. Here we go. Getting a signal. Oh! Okay. We have a working VIC-20. That's interesting. All right. Or working VIC-20. Working C64. I'm sorry. Pop this SID back in here. Hopefully this isn't the problem with this board. Like I said, I bought these all listed as non-working. So let's pop this in. And this time let's go for the full diagnostic cartridge since we're getting basic. And just to be thorough, go ahead and pop our harness on. I don't see my keyboard dongle. Let me check and see if that's, yep. In the last board I used that on, which was the ZIF machine. Get the keyboard dongle. And the serial loop back. All right. Turn up the volume on my monitor here so I can hear. I don't think I have the output set up on my capture. You'll hear it, but I won't through the capture device. I'll only hear it through the monitor. You might hear double if the SID plays, that is. And bad on the user port, so the CIAs. Well, at least that SID is working. Seems to be working. So, what we have here, and we do get to do a little work on this one. It's not completely. Number 4, we have bad U10, U1, and U2. So this may be as simple as swapping out just a few chips. All right, so that finishes this one. If this is as simple as it appears to be, when I do the video on this, I will make hopefully quick work of this and then move on to the next board. But that's it for this one for now. Let's get it out of the harness. U10, just so you know, is, I believe, this one right here. So hopefully, and yeah, this one may get all new chips. Every one of those is an MT RAM chip, so those are absolutely notorious for failing. So I'm not surprised that one of them is bad. I may just go ahead when I do this video and take them all out of there, put in sockets, and put in a whole new set of RAM. But that's it for now on number 4. And now number 5. Oh, number 5 is in a little worse condition. Not much, but a little. We have a missing 9 key, which I believe I'm going to find in this packaging on the side here. Key stem is broken and the spring is gone. So more key replacement. Yes, there is the missing 9 key. So we do have that. Keep that with the case. All right, let's get rid of the, oops. Oh, I forgot to put that back with the other board. Let's get rid of the packing material here. And take another look. We've got a sticker. I'll be able to get that off. That shouldn't be too much of a problem. Otherwise, I'm not seeing scuffs and scratches. This is well used. You can tell as the texture where your wrists would rest. The texture here is worn completely off. So this was a well-used, well-loved machine. We've got minimal yellowing on the keycaps. The case, I think, is slightly yellowed. A bit dirty. Okay. Serial number P5132364. Again, made in the USA. Again, we're missing all 4 of the rubber feet. Well, we're missing all 3 case screws in this instance. So I'll have to replace all of those. Someone's definitely been in here. The case clasps are all good, but there is no cardboard shield. And yeah, the motherboard, that's the keyboard. The LED wasn't even connected, so that's interesting. And we have interesting things happening down here. Okay, this is a different board. This is a 250425. This one has the simplified clock circuitry. We've got another R8 VIC2 chip. We have another R4AR SID chip, so nice. This, I'm guessing, is a kernel switcher. Here's the switch that should be outside the case somewhere. I didn't see any. Let me check again. Oh, yeah. On the side of the case, there are drill holes for the kernel switcher. Or actually, that looks like a reset switch. I don't see any switch for the kernel switcher. I'm not sure how that was supposed to operate, but we'll probably be removing that. Date codes, we have an 86 for the R4AR. 84, that one's worn off, might be 84. Let's see, 84, 84, and we're missing the lid for the RF modulator can. And as you can see here, this case, or the standoffs are broken. So at least the ones back here. So those screws don't need to be undone. That standoff is intact. That standoff is intact. That standoff is intact. And that standoff is intact. Or at least they were holding the screws. Now we lift this out of here and we see, yeah, there is some damage to the standoffs. So this case is going to take some work to get back into shape. That standoff's gone, that one's gone, that one's gone. So yeah, another Jeff Burt 3D printed case repair. So that won't be too difficult. Let's see, where'd my pen go here? And I forgot to mark the top case with number 5. Now the bottom case, number 5. And let's see. Now, as I understand it, this particular reset mod is not a complete reset. It's what you might call a soft reset. It is possible for software like cartridge software to prevent a mod like this from actually resetting the computer. A mod like this would not totally work, so I am going to just get rid of this. And like I said, we'll probably go ahead and get rid of this, what appears to be a kernel switcher of some form or another, or at the very least, it's an adapter to use an EEPROM as a ROM. I do have spares of the ROMs, so I can go ahead and just get rid of that and replace it. Now it looks like, I'm not sure how that's in there. Let me see. Oh, yeah. That's just in a socket. So that can go. Let me grab an actual kernel ROM here for testing purposes. Yeah. Give the socket a little deoxit because it's not the best looking socket. Go ahead and pop this in here. So we have sockets on the CIAs, all three ROMs, the CPU, the SID, the PLA, a logic chip here, the timing, the clock chip, and the VIC-2. Let's go ahead, and he's still got his shield, so we're going to have to take that off. There we go. We're up the temperature. Let's start getting this shield off. Okay. That should do it. Yep. Nasty aluminum shield. Bye-bye. Okay, take a look at the back of the board. Yeah, we definitely have some rework. Not a very good soldering job, so some of that's going to have to be cleaned up. Over all these logic chips. Logic over here. I don't see any rework on the main ICs, but definitely some of the logic has been redone. So we'll have to clean that up and give that a touch-up. Since I've got, ooh, it was never even soldered in place. Or maybe partially get rid of this reset switch. There we go. Yeah. Bye-bye. All right. Now, time to get the SID and the VIC out, if I can find my chip. There it is, chip puller. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and, for safety's sake, since they're all socketed, we're going to take out all the major ICs. And then we're going to check the power. So, switch over for you here. Power. 5 volts. Oh, 5.04, good. 12 volts, 11.96, good. And 5 volts at the user port. If I can stay on the... Oh, come on. 5.01 at the user port. So we're all good on power, which means that we can go ahead and rechip this board. Okay, so all the chips back in. Let's get set up with some video and get you switched over. No, this is without any cartridge. Let's see what we get. No signal. Well, did I screw up on the VIC again? Let's see. No bent pens. Huh. Try reseating it. We've got power. There's power draw on the power supply, not as much as I would expect. Okay. Real quick here, since these are all socketed and this is easy, let's pop this guy out, grab a spare. This is an R9. This is actually newer than the one we had in here. Come on. There we go. See what we get with another VIC chip. Still nothing. So this board has deeper problems. And if we're lucky, the VIC-2 isn't one of them. These spares aren't cheap. Pop that back in. And we will call it on this one. We are going to say number 5. No signal. All right. And that, my friends, is going to be it for this video. If you enjoyed it, please give me a like. Leave your comments down below. Tell me everything I did wrong. I know there was tons of it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and ring the notification bell. And look for the next video in this series where we take a deep dive into board number 1. Thank you. Have a great day. Stay safe, be well, and we'll talk to you next time. Thank you. Bye.